All right, again, my name is Randy Lanham. I am the founder and started Volunteer at Owensboro. Me and my friend Wayne Morris here behind the camera today started Volunteer at Owensboro several years ago. Now, I'm not much of a speaker. I actually recently got a T-shirt given to me by a friend. I'm a musician, some of y'all may know that, may not, but it says, education is important, but playing fiddle is importanter. So I almost wore that today because it's now my favorite T-shirt, but I didn't. We got these fancy new tags that Angie got for us anyway. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about how Volunteer Owensboro got started, and then I'm going to let the pro over here take over and tell you about all the things we do. Several years ago, Wayne and myself, we both play music, so we started as volunteers for, well, we was just talking about this a while ago. We was going to the hospital once a month playing music there, Wendell Foster campus, and hospice volunteers. Man, we just dove in head first, I think, and I was playing music at these different organizations that needed volunteers and that were looking for musicians. So that's the only talent that I have, so I figured that's what I was going to use to serve the Lord. So one of our hospice visits, I got to tell you, one of the very first hospice visits we ever did, we got our little hospice badges, and we were going into nursing homes. So they would give us a list of patients every month, and we would go to a certain nursing home, and we would go to those patients' room and ask them, say, we're hospice volunteers here to play music. If you'd like to hear any music, we'd be glad to play for you. And one of the very first visits, of course, most of them would love to hear music, and every once in a while they'd say, man, I don't care for it. Okay, we'll go to the next room. So one of the very first visits we did, there was a lady laying on the bed, staring, her eyes were open, just staring at the wall. And we walked into the room, and we introduced ourselves to the lady and said who we were, what we was doing, and she had no response. There was a lady in the room cleaning up. She said, guys, she hasn't responded to anybody or anything in weeks. Not her family, not anybody in weeks. So I turned around and walked out of the room, and my friend Wayne here says, no, Randy, let's play. And I looked at him real strange, like, what are you talking about? He said, no, let's play. So we start to get our instruments out, and the lady in the room again said, guys, she's not responding to anything, kind of a polite way to say you're wasting your time. So I look at Wayne again. He says, Randy, let's play. You have to understand this man right here if you don't know him. He's in tune in more than one ways, if you know what I mean. He's a good listener of the Lord. So we got out our instruments and we started to play for this lady, and we witnessed a miracle that day. We witnessed an awakening. We started playing Amazing Grace for the first song, and got through that first verse, and this lady started to wake up and come around. Her eyes, she was looking around like she heard the music. She didn't know where it was coming from. By verse 2, she started singing along with us. By the third verse, she is sitting up in that bed, singing every word, perfect pitch, beautiful voice, singing right along with us. That blew my mind. That absolutely blew my mind, and I, for the first time ever, I really, no pun, felt like an instrument of the Lord. I felt like He was just reaching through me and using me for this miracle. And we sit there for probably 30 minutes, and she loved the old gospel music, so we just did one after another, and she just sang beautifully with us, and she would just squeeze our hand and was crying and singing, and just a beautiful voice. And that experience, it literally changed my life. I wasn't the same after that. I felt like all these years I've been walking around with blinders on, living in my own little world, going to work and doing this and doing that. And then all of a sudden I felt like He took my blinders off. I'd walk down the halls of these nursing homes or go to the Wendell Foster campus or wherever it is that I was, and all of a sudden I was able to see more clearly all the need we have in this area and the world. So Wayne and I get to thinking and get to talking, what can we do about this? You know, there's so many people around this area in our community that want to help, want to serve. Wouldn't y'all agree? There's lots of people. They want to do stuff. But I think You know, the volunteer center had been open for a while, it had been closed for a few years. I think a lot of people just don't know what to do. They don't know what's available. They don't know what their calling is. There's a gap that exists. I've been studying this for years between these good people and these great organizations that need volunteers. So we came along and started this organization called Help Someone Incorporated. We are a 501c3. For many years, we struggled getting started. I was trying to do anything that we could. Since I'm a musician and have a studio, we was creating a lot of PSAs for radio stations. We started getting into video promotion and just doing anything we could to assist local nonprofits. We started the website, started listing places. We rebranded ourselves to Volunteer Owensboro here recently, last couple of years, just trying to do anything we can to close that gap. And I'm constantly studying, trying to figure out how can we connect people to these local nonprofits. So we do, Angie's going to mention a lot of things that we do to try to close that gap. I want to back up here and tell you one other story, because there for the first several years, it was really a struggle to get, I felt like, to get anything done. Have y'all ever been in a situation where you felt like the wheels are turning, but you ain't going anywhere? Have you ever been in that situation? Well, that's how it was when we first started this organization. I didn't feel like we could get anything done. We were doing little things, but it just wasn't growing. It wasn't seeing a lot of results. And I'll never forget, this was close to Christmas several years ago. I hit my knees and I prayed to God. I said, Lord, I need you. I want a sign from you. I need to know if you want me to continue this organization or not. Because I don't want to waste my time. If you're not in it, if you're not going to be a part of this, I don't want to waste my time doing it. 2 days later, and this was sincere prayer. 2 days later, I get a text from a lady I barely know. This is no joke. I've met her 2 or 3 times. I don't even know how she got my number. I get this random text from this lady saying, I had a dream last night, and the Lord told me to let you know about it. Okay? So I call her, and she tells me she has this dream, and in this dream she sees my organization Help Someone at the time before we rebranded to Volunteer Owensboro. I see your organization Help Someone connecting with many, many other nonprofits, not only in our area, but all over the entire world, and making a difference. And I just about cried. I was like, are you, okay, gotcha, okay. So that was my sign, keep going. So we have been keeping going all these years, and I feel like here recently, since Angie DeWitt has come along, we've really gained a lot of momentum. We've got some great things going on. Again, I'm going to let her speak about the different things. And I want y'all to really listen, because a lot of these programs and things that we do can help you in your organization. That's what it's all about. It's not about Volunteer Owensboro. It's about helping the local nonprofits succeed in getting volunteers and finding ways to close those gaps, to connect all these good folks. Can you imagine? Imagine sometimes if all the churches and all the people in this community came together. I feel like there should be a waiting list for volunteer opportunities. There are so many people in this area. All of you nonprofits and the other hundreds that are not here today that need volunteers. I see no reason why there's not people on a waiting list waiting to serve, right? How do you do that? I don't know. We're going to keep working on and trying to figure that out. So I'm going to turn it over to Angie DeWitt right now.
I like to move a lot, so I'll just, Wayne, sorry if I go back and forth. But again, my name is Angie DeWitt. Thanks for having us. And I just want to tell you just a little bit of background. Randy always makes me tear up because he always tells new stories every time when he gets up and talks about Volunteer Owensboro and just the impact it's made over the last few years. But I worked at Mentor Kids for 6 years, so I knew nonprofit world. I knew how hard it is to get volunteers and continue to encourage them, continue to keep them, and also let them know they're doing a great job, because it was kind of a lonely ministry at Mentor Kids, because you're one-on-one with the child and there's not any support when you're doing that. And so we really tried to equip them and then also encourage them at the same time. Well, then I was called on staff at a local church here, so I worked there for 3 years, full-time with middle school high schoolers. So yes, I was the crazy one that stayed up all night long and did all that good stuff. But you had to have volunteers there too as well, so there was always recruitment. Anytime I went and was called to a different position for a new job, so I knew God was kind of calling me out of the ministry and I needed to rest for just a little bit. So I took about 3 months off and I get a text from Randy. Hey, I've been thinking about you, maybe we need to talk sometime, just praying for you. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. So I was kind of praying through like, well, God, what do you want me to do next? What does that look like? I know nonprofit world, I know ministry world, I know what it takes to make all that work together, and what do you want me to do? So Volunteer Owensboro fell on my lap, and so here we are. And like Randy says, we're really growing and really trying to go not full blast, because Randy's a dreamer, as you can see, and I kind of put the feet to his dreams sometimes, so I could work 24/7 if he told me to, but I don't. So anyway, but we do the very best that we can, but we just don't want to go full blast. But God has just been at a constant speed for us that's been very healthy for us. So with all that said, I'm going to tell you what we do for the community, and then also what we can do for you. And some of you faces, I love seeing you guys out there that we already partner with and have a good relationship with. But we get requests weekly, sometimes daily, from different individuals and also families as well that want to volunteer. And over the past few years, even few months that I've been on, we see a lot of people that will come to us go, well, I want to volunteer, but I don't know where to go, or I don't want to walk into that place and then I don't know what I'm supposed to expect or what they're going to say to me, or if it's even a good time. So volunteerowensboro.com is that place. So they can go to the website and they can shop around. They can click on different categories such as elderly, disabled, kids, donations, whatever that looks like. On there are nonprofits. So we've reached out to nonprofits, and if you're not on there, we want you on there for sure. Very easy form Randy's created on our website, and it goes straight on our website. So what happens is we direct them there first, because we don't know what their passions are. We don't know what type of people they want to deal with. They don't know how much time they want to put into that. So that is their time just to go there, shop around, look around, and then hopefully they'll act on that. So also we get, twice a year we offer Club Volunteer. So this is small groups of people, and it's a 7-week course, and it's just a $25 fee. They get a cool t-shirt. And what we do, we meet at different nonprofits, and they share their mission, their needs, and like events, those kind of things coming up, and we actually put action into that night. We actually volunteer at that organization, and they get a feel of what that looks like. We normally do that in the spring and normally do that in the fall. This last one I just had to share with you. I think it's really cool when a nonprofit can pour into another nonprofit. And that happened for us. It happens on several occasions, but that happened just for Stamp Out Hunger. The Postal Service collects all this tons of food, which is so incredible, because all we do, clean out our cabinets, put it by the mailbox, they pick it up. It goes to 7 different local nonprofits here in Owensboro. And so we featured them. We highlighted that everywhere we could go. And then one of our stops for Club Volunteer was Crossroads. So we go into, they were at a church. They had a trailer full of canned goods and just non-perishable items. And Club Volunteer shows up, and this is how incredible things happen for us. There was, I don't know if you know Drew, she is like one of the #1 volunteers over there. She puts in about 36 hours a week just as a volunteer. Her and her husband, they're elderly, and it was just him and her. And so Club Volunteer shows up, and she goes, I'm so thankful this worked out. We had to carry all those canned goods out of the trailer into the church. We had to sort through them. You have to look through all the, I'd never done this before, so I learned lots of things. But if we didn't show up at that time, I don't know what they would have done. There's no way they could have done the work that Club Volunteer. But the cool thing is that it was two different organizations we were able to hit at one time. And so they got to see where the community took time to get the canned goods to pour into another nonprofit. So sometimes those kind of overlap so that sometimes they get extra bonus nonprofits in there too as well. But we offer those twice a year, and like I said, those are smaller groups, so it's more intimate. And they form as a family immediately. And I know we always get comments like, well, can we come back and do it again? Yeah, you can go to any of those places, and we want you to connect there. So we have those. Also, we have small groups, like such as churches or youth groups that want to go out and volunteer. They can just send us an email, and we will set that up however they want to do. It may be a one-time thing. It may be they want to do a couple of things throughout the year, and we'll work with that too. Right now, we have a huge partnership with KWC. I don't know where the lady is. There she is. So with Jay Helmer, on August the 22nd, there's going to be over 200 incoming freshmen out in the community at 12 different nonprofits. Part of their orientation is volunteering at a nonprofit. So we are able to connect those students with nonprofits. They're new to the community, so we wanted to get them engaged in the community as soon as they get here. Also, there's a class that is offered for them too as well. On September, every Saturday, there's going to be another about 150, 100, 200 students going out, and they're going to get a little bit deeper into the nonprofit world. They're going to learn more about budgeting, more about education, those kind of things, what it takes to be a director. Those directors will share a little bit more with those students, and then also they're going to do chunks of projects for them, and that'll be about 3 or 4 hours on Saturday, and that's required of that class. Also, we're partnering with United Way right now. It's called a Day of Sharing. It's in September, and this is new for them, new for us too as well. There's going to be, I think, about 10 projects they're going to tackle, and we'll be combining efforts there too as well. What we're really excited is we're going to be in the school system because we really feel like the next generation is where it is. So we're already starting with college age here at KWC. Now we're going to flow into high school. And we'll be at Davis County High School and Apollo High School probably in September. And we have met with the resource folks there, and what we want to do is be able to speak to those clubs that need service hours. There's lots of them. If you always get phone calls throughout the year, I need time. So we'll be offering services there too as well, but also we're going to be able to go to their, each school, their lunch shifts. So we're going to be setting up kind of a table and information, that kind of stuff. And just hopefully those students will stop by and just want to hear more about volunteering, and we'll connect them as much as we can too. So we're really excited about how the doors are starting to open up. Got an email yesterday that the Aging Council, they've reached out to us to come and speak to their seniors there too. So I told Randy, I said, gosh, we've got from teenagers all the way to adults, senior adults, and it takes all ages. We never put a age on a child. I mean, for Club Volunteer, we've had little bitty ones with mom and dads, and they can volunteer just like mom and dad can too as well. So we never want to discourage anybody. Okay, so what is it for you? So we always have two focuses. One's the community, one's the nonprofit, because we want to partner with you. Like I said in the beginning, I know how discouraged sometimes it gets in nonprofit world, and sometimes you don't see any fruit for quite a while, but I want to just encourage you, you do make a difference. And I know you don't hear that enough, but you need to hear that from us. But we want to partner with you. We want to be able to walk along your side. We want to be able to do what we can for you. So we have a lot of free services, free, okay? You don't hear that very much in nonprofit world, but we have a TV show on Spectrum that runs. Randy could probably tell you a little bit more about that later on, but he will come to you. He will video you. You can use those for promos. We'll put those on our website too as well. It'll just be one-on-one conversation with you. And then also we do a little bit deeper where we can walk through the behind the scenes and also like as a volunteer in your organization and what that looks like, okay? So that will run on Spectrum, and then you can use that too as well. Also, we have radio spots. We're real excited about this. We have Panther Radio that, I always have to look at the dates because I always get them messed up. Fridays and Sundays at 7:20 a.m. That's pre-recorded because I'll come to you and I'll sit down and I get to laughing sometimes and I mess up. So Randy always edits and makes us sound really pretty on the radio, okay? And so that's a very laid-back time. I'm just going to ask you a few questions about what you do, some special events you have coming up, and you just share what your nonprofit does for the community. Also, we're real excited, starting in May, WBIO came to us and said, we want to partner with you guys and we want to highlight every Thursday at 5:35 on the air. You go live with the DJ there, Derek Hancock, and he just talks to you about your nonprofit. You can promote anything that's coming up. It's very easy. We put you on the calendar. We remind you 2 days out. You need to show up. He comes out, gets you in the waiting area. You go back and you talk. And that's it. It's free. All you have to do is just set that up with us. And so we have a monthly newsletter that goes out to about 2,000 people. And I'll send a group email out just saying, hey, you have some things coming up. If you do, we'll promote those for you too as well. Also, we have a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is doing really well. We have about 1,700 likes right now, and that continues to grow. And it's amazing how, I'll just tell you, I never know, social media is so all over the place. I'm still like trying to figure it out. As soon as I figure it out, something else happens. But we had one post that went out just because people want to help, and it was just a reality for me because I had went to Working Hands and her shelves were bare. She had a big, I don't know, a bunch of spaghetti sauce that came in, but there was no spaghetti to go with that, so it's kind of hard to have that. I don't know what else you fix with it. But anyway, so she was just very kind of depressed because it was like, I have all this, but there's not enough food to go with it, you know. And so I said, well, let me take a couple pictures, put it on Facebook, and let's see what happens. That post was shared almost 60 times, and it was 4,000 and something views. Now, I sat back and I thought, that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. But I kept checking back with her saying, has anybody brought food in? No, not yet. Has anybody brought food in? No, not yet. And I don't know how we connect all of that. But we're really trying, and I want you to hear that, because it's real easy to share something, but it's really hard for someone to act on it. So as nonprofits, we have got to bridge that gap somehow. And like I said, Randy and I are trying to figure that out for you and with you, and not thinking that we have all the answers. But I think there's a need. It's just sometimes it's convenient. You know, this isn't convenient for me because I have to go to the store and do that. But any way that we can help you, we want to be able to do that. So I want you to hear our hearts, and we don't have all the answers, but we're definitely willing to do whatever it takes to do that with you. The new thing that we have going on right now is called Ministry in Motion, and this is just taking off. I'm hoping to get approval today from a church, and what we want to do, we want to combine the church and nonprofits. What we are wanting to do is proposals to go to churches and say, we want you to adopt a nonprofit for a year. We want you to financially support them, whatever you decide to do. And also, we want you to pour into them with volunteers. We want you to highlight them at your church. We want you to pray for them, pray over them. We want you to show up with groups of volunteers. And this is starting to happen. And I'm telling you, the way that we feel, it'll explode. And our goal right now is just 3 churches, just 3 right now. And like today, I should get a yes. He's at a 99.9% sure, that they're going to do this. But it's a student ministry that's going to do this. And they're wanting to commit $75 a month to a nonprofit. That's huge. That is huge over a year's time. So if we could bridge those 2 together, we feel like we'll really be going in the right direction. Because, first of all, I would say, hopefully my church feels like we can get volunteers inside most of the time, but once we get people outside the walls volunteering, man, that's when the whole community will change for the good, for sure. So, like I said, we're here for you. If you have any ideas, we're totally open to it. But on your tables, there is a sign-up sheet there. If you're thinking, hey, I want to do that radio spot or a video or whatever, if you want to sign up for that, or it's not committing to that, okay, I'll contact you and maybe we can set something up there, because we want to be able to do that with you. And then if we don't have your information on the website, you can even just do that portion. And but we're so thankful for what you do in our community, because we hear great things. And when we hear that, we want to be able to tell you that, because I know you don't hear that enough. And but anyway, just keep on, because I promise you're making a difference in someone's life. And sometimes you may never ever hear about it, but those one time when you finally get it 10 years later or whatever, that you made a difference, or that one thing that you said, it makes it all worthwhile. So anyway, any questions? I know I talk really fast because I get excited about what we get to do. So any questions? And on the back, all of that is listed, the radio spots, the videos, all that is on the back of there, and then just some other things that we offer too as well. So nothing. Gosh, you guys are an easy crowd. So
I'd just like to say something.
Yeah.
I would really like to thank Angie and Volunteer Owensboro for helping us at Kentucky Wesleyan. We have done volunteer at our orientations before, but I think this year is probably going to be the biggest and most variety of places that we've been. And Angie's been an extraordinary help for us in developing this service learning activity with our freshman seminar class. Part of our accreditation is we have to come up with a quality enhancement plan, which is to help our students learn. And one of our focus this year is service learning. So we are really thankful for for Volunteer Owensboro and Angie for helping us do this. If you have an organization where you think that you could use a student or a group of student volunteers, please do come to our service, our community engagement fair, and let us know, because we are going to be really on the lookout for organizations where we can place students from classes for service learning to help them learn and connect what they're learning in the class with service. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
And
Two things. First of all, if you are interested in connecting with churches, a lot of us think about the big churches. If you want to connect specifically with the small churches in the area, Owensboro Daviess County Ministerial Association can help you do that.
Okay.
And I can be that contact person
Okay.
in the room. Second thing, you might actually want to get in touch with the people at the middle schools too, because National Junior Honor Society has a requirement for volunteer service, and it's very difficult sometimes to find organizations that will take volunteers that are under 16 or under 18 years of age. I have a middle schooler that's in that situation right now, and sometimes Vacation Bible School is an option and sometimes it's not.
Right.
So make sure that you reach out to those schools as well as you're you know.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because Randy and I have talked about that, because there's usually a lot of background checks, those kind of things, and confidentiality, and so we're hoping to compile a list of those folks that would be able to, those students would be able to go into. But thanks for saying that, and a good reminder too, so, yes.
And that has been part of the plan. We thought we would start with a couple schools to get our feet wet, and we're definitely going to expand through the years to try to touch even in the elementary schools. We've had folks reach out to us from the elementary schools to do projects as well. So they're all on the radar. It's just a matter of, we didn't want to get in too deep, too fast. So we're like, let's try this out and see how it works.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions?
Door prizes?
Door prizes, anybody? Yeah, I saw them all smile. Like Randy's done talking, good. Let's get prizes.
Let's mix these up. All right.
Shannon Sandiford from Davis County Public Library. By the way, I put all these together. See that fancy package there? That's me.
Yeah, that's it.
Y'all know
Can you
that.
guys believe that? Oh,
She's got all the taste.
Go ahead. This is next one. Sorry.
Alita Leachman, Owensboro Community College.
All right, last one. Ready?
Yep. Ready?
Where do you go?
I don't know.
Oh, we didn't. Sorry.
Sarah Atkins, Owensboro Regional Recovery. One more note really quick. I think this community coffee is like the coolest thing in the world. Since the first day I came here, I thought, wow, what a resource for local nonprofits to get together, network, find out about other nonprofits. I hope you learned something new today about us. But anyway, thanks for coming. Be sure to tell others. I'm always telling other nonprofits, I'm like, you got to come to this community coffee. It's awesome. You learn so much, you network, and learn, meet other new people. But anyway, thank you so much, and I appreciate the folks. Thank you so much for everything that you do to make this community coffee happen every month. So thank y'all for coming.